Hey everyone, hope you guys are doing great. Welcome to another episode of What If Goku Was Betrayed and Locked in the Null Realm for 1,000 years. Real quick guys, thank you so much for your continued support, and I need to take a moment and quickly apologize for not being able to make the videos. Unfortunately, there were certain things that were going on in my life due to which I couldn't make the episode. So thank you so much for being patient, and if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, then take a moment and subscribe. Also guys, I just wanted to let everyone know that we finally created our page on Instagram. It's called Theories, so if you can just take a moment and follow us on Instagram, then that would be great. You can find the link in the description. And that being said, let's go ahead and get this episode started. Previously, we saw how Goku was approached by Zamoshi, who revealed himself to be the god of time. After Goku confronts him, Zamoshi then tells Goku about his past, where millions of years ago he and the grandpriest were second in command to the Omni King. Zamoshi then tells Goku that despite him being loyal to the Omni King, he was still betrayed by him and the grandpriest after they realized how powerful he was becoming. He explains that he was hit with a surprise attack and later sealed in the Null Realm where no one was able to know about his existence. He then further proceeds and tells Goku about the reality of gods and how they pose danger to Earth and what would happen if Goku were to not get out of the Null Realm in time. After listening to Zamoshi, Goku makes up his mind and decides to train with him so that by the time he gets out of the Null Realm, he is strong enough to defend Earth. Goku then spends 10 Earth days in the Null Realm training, which are equivalent of around 1,000 years in the Null Realm. In these 1,000 years, Goku is pushed to his limits and trains non-stop with Zamoshi. Eventually, after spending so much time training, he finally transcends and shatters his own limits and becomes Super Saiyan 5. In this episode, after Goku becomes Super Saiyan 5, his power is beyond anyone's wildest imagination and radiates throughout all the Null Realm. His power is strong enough that it transcends dimensions and radiates throughout all of the universes. It is felt in all of the universes, including Universe 7, where on Earth everyone suddenly feels this power that rattles all of them.
How is he generating that much power?
Do it, Dad!
It's too much!
But they are not alone in this, as all the gods of destructions, the angels, and the warriors from different universes all sense this incredible power. Eventually, this power makes it to the grandpriest as well, who quickly recognizes this power as that of Goku's and is incredibly surprised to see such power coming from him. He's then taken over by a fear that the barrier that he placed around the Omni King might not hold on, and Goku's overwhelming ki might creep in, and the Omni King might sense Goku's newfound power as well. So before that could happen, the Grand Priest decides to take drastic measures and decides to first visit Whis to inform him of his decision. In the meantime, we then switch scenes with Goku and Zamoshi, where Zamoshi tells Goku, "So, how does it feel?" "It feels weird. It seems like my God Ki has now merged with my Saiyan Ki, and instead of this form having just the raw power, it now has the calmness and the speed of the God Ki, while also having this pure raw power that comes with the form. It's like I'm having the best of both races." Of course, that was the whole purpose of this training in the first place. I mean, we already knew that you had the power of gods through the Ultra Instinct, and you also had the Saiyan power. However, whenever you transformed, you were using just one power and not both. Like for example, in your fights before, whenever you were tapping into your Super Saiyan form, before you were just using the power of your race and not combining it with the divine power. But then, when you either were using the Super Saiyan Blue form or your Ultra Instinct form, then you were only using the divine power, and it's because of that you were not having enough power, and in a lot of ways you lacked that harmony in between both of your powers. You could have used them at the same time, and you could have had much more power then, but since you didn't use, so you were just barely scratching the surface. I see. No wonder why I've always felt like there is more to my powers than what it shows on the surface. Exactly. Now that you have successfully merged your powers, you now have this multiplier effect in your Super Saiyan 5 form, where it is now 10 times more powerful than what it would have been had you not combined your powers like before. It's almost like how you have in Fusion, where the power multiplies when two warriors are merged together, but in your case there is much more to it than that, as your divine powers calmness and speed and your Saiyan powers raw power have now given you the combination of both power and speed, which makes this form a terrifying one indeed. Thanks for all your help, Zamoshi. With this power now, I should be able to protect everyone and get the heck out of this place. However, even after all this time, you're still just a naive fool. Zamoshi, what are you doing? Are all of you mortals that stupid? Did you really thought I was going to spend 1,000 years here in this wretched dimension just to drain you? What are you talking about? Well, I guess I can tell you as much since you're about to die anyway. Very well, you see, the story that I told you before was not completely a lie. However, it was still half-truth. And the problem with half-truths are that they are worse than plain lies. You see, I did serve the Omni King alongside with the Grand Priest, and I did start off as someone who truly wanted to serve and protect him. However, after serving him for a while, I soon realized how messed up his logic was and how twisted his justice system truly was. At first, I noticed how it was small things that used to tick him off and how frightened his own royal guards used to be from him. It was almost like they used to walk on eggshells every single day, and they were one wrong move away from being wiped out of existence. Now, even though it was right there where I should have realized by mistake, but the last straw that broke the camel's back was when I witnessed how mercilessly the Omni King wiped out all universes from 13 to 18. Judging by your reaction, it seems like you already knew about that. I'm assuming it was whis who must have told you about that. So you see, after witnessing the mass destruction of all of those universes, I decided that enough was enough and that that stupid child was simply unfit to be the supreme ruler of everything in creation. After that event, I devoted my entire time training and getting stronger in hopes of dethroning the Omni King and replacing him as the ruler, and lo behold, I was finally able to master a power that controlled time itself. It was then where I knew that I was strong enough to take him on. However, this is when everything went south. You see, I made a miscalculation. I was so invested in my training that I didn't realize that the Omni King and the Grand Priest had noticed my murderous intent, which I was unable to suppress and which they picked up on a while ago. It was because of that they were keeping tabs on me, and thanks to that they knew of my plan, which is why when the day came when I was planning to assassinate the Omni King, I was ambushed by both of them and then later sealed in this dimension. To be honest, after being sealed in this dimension, I lost my sanity dozens of times over, but it was still my will that kept me going, and so I kept training in hopes of surpassing that wretched brat and one day having enough power to rupture the space and time and opening a portal that will unlock my way out of this dimension. I spent hundreds of thousands of years training to reach that goal. However, after a point I realized that my powers won't grow anymore, and it seemed like I hit my ceiling. Now, after that realization hit me, it felt like the end of the world, but it seems like even I underestimated my own will, and it wasn't long before I started searching for other ways to get out of this realm. I started to use my powers to search for different life forms in hopes of finding someone who might have a technique that would help me get out of here. I picked up a few techniques that I tried to use to get out of here, but none of them worked, and so I tried to search again, and eventually I came across your planet where I was able to witness a fight between your son's fusion and Majin Buu. It was during that fight where I noticed an interesting little technique that both your son's fusion and Majin Buu used to get out of the time chamber, and when I saw that technique, I knew that I was finally able to get my hands on a technique that I was going to be able to use to get out of here, and so immediately afterwards I tried to replicate that technique. However, I soon realized that I lacked the raw power to break through the space-time continuum, and I'm not gonna lie, after trying countless times, I almost gave up. That is, until I saw your battle with beerus. It was then where I realized that you were special, and that if I had to break out of here, then I was going to need your power, and so I waited for the right time. I knew that there will be a point where the Grand Priest will be forced to seal you here, and so when the time came, I was able to put my plan into action, and now 1,000 years later, here we are. You know, the entire time I've been sealed here, a part of me couldn't help but think what would have happened had I been successful in my plan that day. But I guess as tough of a pill as it is for me to swallow, I guess I'll admit that that day I did make two mistakes. The first being that I overestimated my own power and not waiting to master it completely before going for the Omni King. Second being the fact that I couldn't keep my murderous intent in check. Oh well, I guess I should be grateful, as it is because of that I had the motivation to get stronger, and I wouldn't have otherwise spent all of my time mastering my power. And of course I wouldn't have come across you, mortal. Anyway, now that you've heard all of that, I think it's time for me to take your powers. Don't worry though, out of respect, I'll make it quick. Now, as soon as Zamoshi says that, he then begins to extract Goku's powers, only to notice a grin on Goku's face. And before he could say anything to Goku, Goku looks back at him and says, "And what makes you think that your plan has succeeded this time around?" Now, as soon as Goku says that, Zamoshi is shocked as he starts to see Goku's body disappearing right in front of his eyes. But before he could react, we then see Goku appearing right behind Zamoshi and shoving his fist right through his body. You fool. Did you really thought I didn't see this coming? When did you realize? From the second we met. What? Impossible. Think whatever you want, but ironically for you, it was still your murderous intent that ruined your plans. But then again, murderous intent or not, the outcome wasn't going to change, as it would be a cold day in hell before I would ever trust a god again. Farewell. Oh, and don't worry, out of respect, I'll make it quick for you. Damn you. Now as soon as Goku says that, he then starts to absorb Zamoshi's power and then blasting him to pieces, and it's only after that we end chapter 4 of What If Goku Was Betrayed and locked in the Null realm for 1,000 years. Honestly guys, this episode has been my personal favorite by far, as not only did we saw an ironic end to Zamoshi's character, but we also got to see changes in Goku's personality. Personally, while I think Goku's power is nothing to sneeze at, but I do think that it's his mindset that makes him a force to be reckoned with now. In the next chapter, it will be very interesting to see what the Grand Priestess plan would be and whether or not he would be able to get to Goku before he's able to get out of the Null realm. As always guys, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, then please take a moment and subscribe, and also let me know in the comment section down below as to which episode has been your favorite so far. But anyhow guys, thank you again for watching, and like always, I'll see you in the next one.